Well, shadows is kind of an eerie sound when you're 200 years old. It kind of reminds you where you've been spending your last 50 years or more. I want you to draw attention to this just a little later. This John McClary bas-relief silhouette, and that's what it commemorates, where this whole area from that whole vacant parking lot, they're calling it, was the side of the wigwam. And that was a great big canvas affair where they had a nominating convention, state Republican nominating. That was after the Republicans had gotten a coalition and formed a party. And I was over here where I think it's a jewelry store now, down in sort of a lower level, take a little cat nap. I'd been all tuckered out because it wasn't easy to get from one place to another back then, and even a carriage ride would kind of tire you out. And plus I was up all night socializing with Governor Oglesby. Well, he wasn't governor at the time, but Richard Oglesby and John Hanks and some of the cronies that I knew from the Decatur area. And so next thing I know, I was being jostled and told, why don't you get over there? They're about to put your name in some kind of a nomination. And so I'd heard rumors that I was at least a long shot consideration. So I got over there, and it was actually on the other end of the block where was the back, and this was sort of the front of the staging area. And the place had just filled up, was absolutely packed with human beings. And you couldn't get to, I was kind of crouched down listening to what they were saying. And when my name was mentioned, I stood up, but I couldn't get to the front of the stage. So these fellers, and they hoisted me up, called hoisting, and hand over hand. By the time I got to the other end of this big long block, I was getting a little altitude sickness, and I was very relieved when they set me back down. But that's what that's all about. So if you want to bring a child or any time you want to take a photograph, that's a real nice place to do it. And you can. And then next year, I understand 2010, they're going to try to continue this bicentennial celebration, and in particular commemorate that, since that was in the odd year with the 60 odd. I'll tell you a quick little story that happened to me. Just once you think you're getting a little tall in the saddle, somebody's bound to shoot you back down, and I was naturally tall in the saddle, and whether I was elected office or not. And I was coming out of this conference, and this fella came up to me, and of course I knew the area real well, having this was my first home for a year. And this fella came up, and I didn't recognize him, but he had a certain look in his eye, and I kind of could detect he was probably one of them darn Democrats. And he came over, and he looked me up and down, and he said, I understand that you're Abraham Lincoln. I said, yes, sir, that's true, I am. And he looked at me, took a step back, looked at me again, he said, and I understand that you're a self-made man. I said, yes, that's true. He said, well, all I can say, you did a damn poor job. But we got along. We had to. I mean, a lot of times we were in court together, the Democrats. Sometimes we'd be opposing sides. And so even old Stephen Douglas, the little giant, as much as we fought tooth and nail in the debate circuit, once unfortunately, he didn't live through my whole administration. But we were fond of him, and often had him over to the White House dinner. Is there anybody that has a question or a comment or anything that they want to make about Macon County or Lincoln? We got some pennies here. If your parents don't mind, I'll give the children. Would you like a penny? You know, oh yeah. Well, I imagine they were. I think they left the space there. It actually was more. I think they left the space in case some child wants to get in there and get the picture thing. You can take pictures so much quicker now. Back when I first started getting pictures, they had a powder of zinc and sulfur, and you'd have to put a metal brace and hold still forever, and then the flash would go off. It was quite the operation. Now they got these little bitty devices. I don't even, well, she's got one. Pretty amazing. Anybody got any comments or questions? All right, well, this pretty much wraps up, I think, your walking tour. There's refreshments and music across the way, and just feel free to walk around. Have you seen the courthouse statue? Yeah. Over that way and then the one at the, all righty. Nice talking to you. Enjoy. You're very welcome.